They laughed when he walked in. They stopped laughing when he started talking. A 5-year-old boy showed up to fight for his mother's future and ended up changing the heart of a man who'd forgotten what really mattered. Dear listener, before we dive into this story, I need you to comment below where you're watching from. Tommy lived in a small apartment on Oak Street in Chicago. Every morning, Tommy would wake up and make cereal for breakfast. He was only 5 years old, but he was very smart. He knew how to pour milk without spilling it everywhere. He also knew how to tie his shoes, brush his teeth, and even make simple sandwiches. Tommy's mom, Maria, worked at a big company called Sterling Industries. She wore nice clothes to work every day, a black skirt, white shirt, and shiny shoes. Maria always told Tommy that her job was very important. She helped the company make money by talking to customers and solving problems. But for the past 2 weeks, Maria had been very sick. She lay in bed all day, coughing and sneezing. Her face was hot, and she felt too weak to get up. Tommy brought her soup and water. He even tried to make her laugh by telling jokes he learned at school. "Mommy, when will you feel better?" Tommy asked one morning. Maria's eyes looked sad. "I don't know, sweetie, but I'm worried about my job. If I don't go to work soon, they might fire me." Tommy didn't understand what fire meant, but he knew it was bad. He saw his mom cry when she thought he wasn't looking. That made Tommy's heart hurt. Their apartment felt very quiet without Maria's usual morning routine. She would normally sing songs while getting ready for work. Now, Tommy only heard the sound of her coughing from the bedroom. The refrigerator was almost empty. Tommy counted the food inside: 2 apples, some bread, and a little bit of milk. He was hungry, but he saved the good food for his mom. Tommy loved his mom more than anything in the whole world. She read him bedtime stories every night. She helped him with his homework. She always gave him hugs when he felt scared or sad. One day, Tommy heard his mom talking on the phone. She was speaking to someone from her work. "Please, Mr. Johnson," she said. "I just need a few more days. I promise I'll come back as soon as I feel a little better." Tommy listened from behind the door. His mom sounded scared. "I understand," Maria continued. "Yes, I know the big meeting is tomorrow, but I can't even stand up for more than 5 minutes." After she hung up, Tommy heard her crying again. He peeked into the room and saw her holding a piece of paper. That night, Tommy couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about his mom's sad face. He thought about all the bills on the kitchen table that said "past due" in red letters. Tommy made a decision. He was going to help his mom, no matter what. The next morning, while Maria was still sleeping, Tommy found her work clothes in the closet. He also found her purse and the paper she was holding. It said, "Interview, Sterling Industries, 9 a.m. Tommy put on his best clothes: blue jeans, a red sweater, and his school shoes. He combed his hair with water and looked in the mirror. He tried to make his face look serious, like grown-ups do when they go to work. He wrote a note for his mom: "Gone to help, back soon, love Tommy." Tommy had never been on a bus by himself before, but he had watched his mom do it many times. He knew which bus to take and where to get off. He had been to his mom's office building once before, when she had to pick up papers on a weekend. As the bus drove through the busy streets of Chicago, Tommy looked out the window at all the tall buildings. He saw people in suits walking fast on the sidewalks. Everyone looked very important and busy. Tommy's stomach felt funny, not because he was hungry, but because he was nervous. He was about to do something very brave. When the bus stopped at LaSalle Street, Tommy got off and walked toward the biggest building he had ever seen. It was made of glass and metal and went up so high that he couldn't see the top. A sign in front said, "Sterling Industries, where success meets excellence." Tommy took a deep breath and walked through the spinning door. Dear listener, hit the subscribe button if you support Tommy's bravery, or comment below why such bravery doesn't deserve your support. Inside the building, everything was shiny and cold. The floor was made of smooth marble that made Tommy's footsteps echo. Giant windows let in bright sunlight. Tommy walked up to a tall desk where a woman sat. She had glasses and blonde hair pulled back tight. Her name tag said Rebecca, reception. "Excuse me," Tommy said in his loudest voice. "I'm here for the interview." Rebecca looked down at him with big eyes. "Little boy, are you lost? Where are your parents?" Tommy stood up as straight as he could. I'm not lost. My name is Tommy Brooks. My mom is Maria Brooks. She's sick, so I came instead. Rebecca's mouth fell open. She didn't know what to say. Other people in the lobby started looking at Tommy too. Men in expensive suits whispered to each other. Ladies in high heels stopped walking and stared. Honey, Rebecca said slowly, interviews are for grown-ups. You need to go home. But my mom really needs this job, Tommy explained. She's been throwing up all week. If she doesn't get better soon, we won't have money for food. Rebecca picked up her phone. Security? We have a situation in the lobby. Tommy's heart started beating fast. He didn't want security guards to take him away. He had to think quickly. Wait, he said. I know about my mom's job. She talks to customers and fixes their problems. She knows how to use computers and answer phones. I can learn those things too. A man in a gray suit walked over. His badge said, Mr. Peterson, Human Resources. What's going on here? Mr. Peterson asked. Tommy looked up at him. Sir, I'm here for my mom's interview. She's Maria Brooks. She was supposed to come today, but she's too sick. I came to tell you that she's a really good worker. She never misses work unless she's dying. Mr. Peterson rubbed his forehead. Son, this is very sweet, but we can't interview a 5-year-old. Why not? Tommy asked. I'm smart. I can read. I know my numbers. I even know how to make phone calls. More people gathered around. Some were smiling, but others looked annoyed. Tommy heard someone say, this is ridiculous. Someone needs to call his parents. Another person whispered, how did a kid even get in here? Tommy felt tears starting to come, but he tried to be brave. Please don't be mad at me. I just want to help my mom. She cries every night because she's scared of losing her job. I don't want her to cry anymore. Mr. Peterson knelt down so he was at Tommy's eye level. Where is your mom right now? She's home in bed. She has a fever and keeps coughing. Sometimes she can't breathe good. I made her some tea this morning, but she couldn't drink it. Rebecca whispered something to Mr. Peterson. He nodded and stood up. Tommy, I need to make a phone call. Can you wait here for a minute? Tommy nodded. He sat down in a big leather chair that was too tall for him. His legs dangled in the air. He watched all the busy people walking around the lobby. Everyone seemed to have somewhere important to be at. After a few minutes, Mr. Peterson came back. His face looked serious. Tommy, I spoke with our CEO, Mr. Harrison. He wants to meet you. Tommy's eyes got wide. The CEO? Is he the boss of everyone? Yes, he is, and he's waiting for you upstairs. Tommy stood up and smoothed down his red sweater. Am I in trouble? No, son, but your day is about to get very interesting. Mr. Peterson led Tommy to a golden elevator. As the doors closed, Tommy saw his reflection in the shiny walls. He looked very small. The elevator went up and up and up. Tommy counted the numbers, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Finally, it stopped at 35. This is it, Mr. Peterson said. Are you ready? Tommy took a deep breath. Yes, sir. I'm ready to save my mom's job. Do you love Tommy already? How about you subscribe now for more interesting and inspiring stories like Tommy's? If not, tell us in the comments why this little smart boy hasn't won your heart yet. Tommy looked around the huge office. He saw pictures of Mr. Sterling shaking hands with famous people. There were awards on the walls and a big window that showed the whole city of Chicago. Well? Mr. Sterling asked. What do you know about this job, little fella? Tommy remembered listening to his mom practice her answers at home. She had talked to herself in the mirror many times. My mom said it's about helping customers, Tommy began. She knows how to solve problems and make people happy. Mr. Sterling wrote something on a piece of paper. And why should we hire your mother instead of someone else? Tommy's eyes lit up. This was easy. He knew all the good things about his mom. Because she's the best mom in the whole world, Tommy said proudly. She makes me breakfast every morning, even when she's tired. She helps me with my homework after working all day. She never gives up on anything. Mr. Sterling stopped writing. Something about Tommy's answer surprised him. She also knows Spanish and English, Tommy continued. And she's really good with computers. She taught me how to use one when I was 4 years old. I see, Mr. Sterling said. But Tommy, this is a very important job. The person we hire will work with big companies and handle millions of dollars. Tommy nodded seriously. My mom is super smart. She helps me count my allowance money, and she always pays our bills on time, even when we don't have much money. Mr. Sterling felt something strange in his chest. He couldn't remember the last time someone had talked about their family with such love. "Tommy," he said quietly, "what would happen if your mother doesn't get this job?" Tommy's face became sad. "We might have to move away from Chicago. Mom says we can't afford our apartment anymore, and I would have to leave my school and my friends." Mr. Sterling had made thousands of business decisions in his life. He had fired people, closed offices, and cut costs, but he had never seen a child fight so hard for his family. "There's something else," Tommy said, his voice getting smaller. "Mom cries at night when she thinks I'm sleeping. She tries to be quiet, but I can hear her. She's scared." Mr. Sterling put down his pen. In all his years as CEO, no one had ever been so honest with him. "Tommy, do you know what I do here?" Mr. Sterling asked. "You're the boss of everyone," Tommy said. "You decide who gets jobs and who doesn't." "That's right, and I'm very busy. I have meetings all day long. I work late every night. I don't have time for—" Mr. Sterling stopped talking. He was about to say he didn't have time for family, but looking at Tommy, he realized how empty that sounded. "Mr. Sterling?" Tommy said. "Do you have kids?" The question hit Mr. Sterling like a punch. I had a son once, but I was always working. I missed his baseball games, his school plays, his birthday parties. One day he grew up and moved far away. We don't talk anymore." Tommy looked confused. "Why don't you call him?" "It's complicated," Mr. Sterling said. "No, it's not," Tommy said simply. "Just say you're sorry and that you love him. That's what my mom does when we have fights." Mr. Sterling stared at this little boy who had just given him the best advice he'd heard in years. "Tommy," he said slowly, "I want to offer your mother the job." Tommy's eyes went wide. "Really? But first, I need to meet her. Can you bring her here tomorrow?" Tommy's face fell. "She's still too sick to walk." Mr. Sterling made a decision that shocked even himself. "Then, I'll come to your house." Tommy couldn't believe it. The most important man in the company wanted to visit their tiny apartment. "Really?" Tommy asked again. "Really," Mr. Sterling said, standing up. "Give me your address." As Tommy wrote down his address on a piece of paper, this little boy had reminded him what really mattered. When Tommy got home from Sterling Industries, he found his mom sitting on the couch, crying. Her eyes were red and puffy. She had been awake all morning, worried sick about her little boy. "Tommy," Maria cried when she saw him. "Where have you been? I woke up and you were gone. I looked everywhere for you." Tommy ran to his mom and hugged her tight. "I'm sorry, Mommy. I left you a note." Maria held up the crumpled paper. "This note just says you went to help." "Help with what? I was so scared something bad happened to you." Tommy's voice was excited. "Mommy, I went to your job interview. I talked to Mr. Sterling and he wants to give you the job." Maria's face went white. "You did what?" "I told him all the good things about you," Tommy explained, "and he said he wants to meet you tomorrow." Maria felt dizzy. She sat down hard on the couch. "Tommy, you can't just go places by yourself. You're only 5 years old. What if you got lost? What if someone hurt you?" Tommy saw that his mom was shaking. "But Mommy, I helped. Mr. Sterling is coming here tomorrow to talk to you." "Here?" Maria looked around their tiny apartment. "The CEO of Sterling Industries is coming here?" Maria started to panic. Their home was small and old. The paint was peeling off the walls. "I'm sorry, Mommy," Tommy said quietly. "I just wanted to save your job." Maria pulled Tommy close and hugged him. "Oh, sweetie, you're the bravest little boy in the world, but you scared me so much." The next morning, Tommy woke up extra early. He had to clean the apartment before Mr. Sterling arrived. Maria was still very sick. She had a fever and could barely sit up in bed. Meanwhile, across town, Mr. Sterling was having his own problems. His assistant, Janet, was very upset. "Sir," Janet said, "you can't just visit random employees at their homes. What if something goes wrong? What if they try to sue the company?" Mr. Sterling had never done anything like this before. For 30 years, he had only met people in his office or fancy restaurants. "And sir," Janet continued, "you have 3 important meetings today. The investors from New York are flying in just to see you." Mr. Sterling looked at his calendar. Janet was right. He had millions of dollars in deals to discuss, but he kept thinking about Tommy's question. "Why don't you call him?" Mr. Sterling picked up his phone and dialed a number he hadn't called in 2 years. "Hello, Dad," said a voice on the other end. It was his son, Michael. "Michael," Mr. Sterling said nervously. I wanted to talk to you." There was a long pause. "Dad, are you okay? You never call me." "I know," Mr. Sterling said. "I'm sorry. I've been thinking about all the times I missed when you were growing up." Michael's voice became softer. "Dad, I missed you too, but you were always working." "I want to change that," Mr. Sterling said. "Would you like to have dinner this week?" "I'd love that, Dad," Michael said happily. After hanging up, Mr. Sterling felt lighter than he had in years. Tommy had been right. It wasn't complicated at all. But when he arrived at Oak Street, Mr. Sterling faced a new challenge. The neighborhood was very different from his world of expensive restaurants and luxury cars. Kids were playing in the street. Music came from open windows. People sat on their front steps, talking and laughing. Mr. Sterling had lived in Chicago his whole life, but he had never been to this part of the city. At exactly 10 a.m. there was a gentle knock on the door. Tommy ran to open it and saw Mr. Sterling standing there with a big smile on his face. "Hello, Tommy," Mr. Sterling said warmly. "I brought something for you." He handed Tommy a small wrapped box. Inside was a shiny toy car that looked just like Mr. Sterling's real car. "Wow," Tommy said, his eyes lighting up. "Thank you, Mr. Sterling." Maria came out of the bedroom, wearing her best dress. She still looked tired, but she had combed her hair and put on lipstick. "Mr. Sterling," she said nervously, "thank you for coming to our home. I'm sorry it's not very fancy." Mr. Sterling looked around the small apartment. He saw Tommy's drawings on the refrigerator, a cozy couch with soft pillows, and family photos on the walls. Tommy played with his new car while the adults talked. "Maria," Mr. Sterling began, "I want to offer you a job, but not the one you applied for." Maria's heart started beating fast. "What kind of job?" "I want you to be the manager of our new branch office here in Chicago," Mr. Sterling said. Maria couldn't believe her ears. "Manager? But I've never been a manager before." "Tommy showed me yesterday that the best leaders are people who care about others," Mr. Sterling explained. "You raised an amazing son. That tells me everything I need to know about your character." Tommy looked up from his toy car. "Does that mean my mom gets to be the boss?" Mr. Sterling laughed. "Yes, Tommy, your mom will be the boss of a whole office." Maria started crying happy tears. "Mr. Sterling, this is like a dream come true. How can I ever thank you?" "Actually," Mr. Sterling said, "I should thank you. Tommy helped me remember what's really important in life." He pulled out his phone and showed them a picture. "This is my son, Michael. Because of Tommy's advice, I called him yesterday. We talked for 2 hours. We're having dinner tonight for the first time in years." Tommy smiled proudly. "I told you it was easy." Mr. Sterling looked at Tommy with warm eyes. "Tommy, you've given me the greatest gift anyone could give. You helped me get my son back." Then Mr. Sterling said something that surprised everyone. "Maria, I have an unusual request. I know this might sound strange, but I would like to adopt Tommy." Maria's mouth fell open. "Adopt him?" "I've been thinking about it all night," Mr. Sterling explained. "I missed raising my own son because I was always working, but Tommy taught me that it's never too late to be a father." Tommy stopped playing with his car. "What does adopt mean?" "It means I would become your second daddy," Mr. Sterling said gently. "You would still live with your mom, but I would help take care of you too. We'd be a family." Tommy looked at his mom. "Can we do that, Mommy?" Maria was overwhelmed. "Mr. Sterling, that's incredibly generous of you." He knelt down next to Tommy. "Tommy, would you like me to be your second daddy?" Tommy threw his arms around Mr. Sterling's neck. "Yes, I always wanted a daddy." Maria wiped her eyes. "Mr. Sterling, are you sure about this? Taking care of a child is a big responsibility." "I've never been more sure of anything," Mr. Sterling said. "Tommy, we could go to baseball games together. And I have a big backyard where you could play." "And I could visit your fancy office?" Tommy asked excitedly. "Every day after school if you want," Mr. Sterling promised. "You'll have your own desk right next to mine." Maria looked at her son's happy face and Mr. Sterling's kind eyes. "If this is what you both want, then yes." Mr. Sterling stood up and shook Maria's hand. "Welcome to the Sterling family, both of you." Tommy jumped up and down. "We're going to be rich," Mr. Sterling laughed. "Tommy, we were already rich. We just didn't know it until we found each other. He picked up Tommy and spun him around, and now I get to learn how to be a daddy all over again." Maria watched her son laugh with joy. For the first time in months, she wasn't worried about money or jobs or the future. "Mr. Sterling," she said, "I think you're going to be a wonderful father." "Call me Richard," he said with a smile. "We're family now." Tommy looked at his mom and his new daddy. "This is the best day ever." As they sat around the small kitchen table, making plans for their new life together, Richard Sterling realized that the little boy who had walked into his office had given him something more valuable than any business deal. He had given him a family. And Tommy had learned that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is ask for help, because you never know whose life you might change in the process. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to see more amazing stories of hope and kindness, or tell us in the comments what story you'd like to hear next. Here's hoping you'd listen to my next story too. Lots of love.